First of all, when we go with running backs, I think you start with the smallest fundamentals. The little things are what win championships with you. You take care of the little things, the big things will take care of themselves. Here at West Alabama, we're very fortunate to have a guy named Craig Hall that works with our running backs, and he's a great fundamental coach, and I think one of the best in Division II. If you're going to run the football, you got to make sure you take care of ball security. The biggest ratio in football is the turnover ratio, and if you can take care of the ball, you're going to win games. When we hold the ball, we start out, every ball right there, if you'll see Jaron right here, he's got these two fingers, his index finger, his next finger, they're on each side of the nipple of this ball. Some people call that the crosshairs. And we get that pretty tight in the ball right there where really he could hold the ball there. We want to make sure we've got the ball here. We put the back tip of the ball in his armpit and we squeeze on it. As the ball is tight right there with his armpit, right on his hand, the next thing, his forearm, there is no space between his forearm and the ball. So he's got the ball gripped pretty well. What we do with the ball there now, we don't want to get out. He says, we're just going to relax here a minute, get the ball out. We don't want to get out loose where somebody can hit it, knock it loose, he loses balance and all that. We have it, we take the ball and we press it up against our rib cage. If the ball is against our rib cage, now we're protected pretty much every way. Defensive players nowadays, they're taught to steal the ball. They're taught to hit hands, knock it down, come back and punch it from here. If we've got that, we can't knock the ball out. If it's close to his body, he keeps it. Now, runners, since forever in football, have been taught to run with the ball in their outside arm. I agree with that to a certain extent. We want to get the ball in the outside arm as we're running, but as we start down the field and we change directions, we don't want to change the ball. We don't want to change the ball from one hand to another. Sometimes a guy ends up getting hit. If he's changing the ball, he loses it. So what we want to do, we want to keep it right there together. Now what we will do is just what Jaron did. If we get in traffic and we're in the middle, we're going to get that ball in both hands. And we're going to have those hands just the same that they were one-handed. Around the nipple of the ball here, around the other one right here, both hands, and squeezed into his gut to where the ball can't get out. We're going to really protect that football. One other thing that we're going to do, if Jaron's running the ball, he's got in his left hand there, and he's fighting for yards, and he's a tough runner, he's going to fight for every yard he can get. We're not going to take that ball and put our other hand on the ground. Sometimes you see runners, follow me right here, runners, they'll put the hand on the ground. We don't want to do that. Because see, as Jaron did that, what happens? His elbow came up. When his elbow comes up, somebody comes in, hits the ball, knocks the ball loose. What we want to do is if we're going down, instead of doing that, and I'm not going to have him get on the ground here, put his other hand on it, turn his shoulder, and he goes on the ground and protects the ball. The two things that happen, not just the fact that the ball gets knocked out when his elbow goes up, but we got a good player here. He puts his hand out, some 300-pound lineman comes there and lands on his elbow, we got an injury. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep it in the same arm, the same time, the same protection. When we go to the ground, the other hand's going to get on it, we're going to roll up, we're going to protect the football. I always heard the stat that turnovers, if you get a turnover, and it's not a turnover till the other team gets it, but if you have a turnover, that's just like taking the football, throwing it 40 yards back the field, and giving it to the other team, because you eliminate the chance of punting the football and getting it down the field and playing the game we're supposed to be playing. That's the way we're going to hold the football at West Alabama.